She's not a secretary. She's a curated image. Corporate property in high heels. Watch her heels tap across polished marble floors. Every step says the same thing. You're not here to manage documents. You're here to be seen, admired, displayed. She arrives before 8 a.m. Her perfume must match the brand. Her makeup must be flawless, but natural, and her outfit must toe the invisible line between modest and attractive. No one says, selection like a consort, but she knows the rules. It's not about how fast she types. It's about how well she reads the room, how gracefully she smiles when she's introduced. Her job list includes more than meeting notes. It includes public appearance support, media coordination, and executive accompaniment. Sounds professional, but in practice, she's a luxury accessory in a tailored blazer. In 2025, Korea's HR database revealed that 46% of female secretary listings prioritized appearance over experience, and 32% of those jobs had no career advancement pathway. She's not valued, she's showcased. They didn't come to apply for a job. They came to be selected. In one Korean conglomerate's internal memo, the hiring process for secretarial roles had 3 rounds. Round 1, appearance scoring, posture, skin clarity, body proportions. Round 2, verbal elegance and smile harmony. Round 3, internal references, specifically assessing whether she fits into high-pressure environments. Translation: knows how to act. Applicants are never allowed to see their evaluation sheets. All they know comes from whispered advice. Too pretty, you're a threat. Too plain, you're invisible. Speak up, you're difficult. Stay silent, you're dull. A former secretary at a Samsung-affiliated firm puts it bluntly. This wasn't a job application. It was a selection screening. Like a private casting, everything looked official, but behind that official mask, it was a process of judging women's bodies and personas under the guise of professionalism. They were told to be suitable for the executive, yet never permitted to be seen as professionals in their own right. This wasn't recruitment. It was a quiet ritual, one no one dares to name. My name is Yuna. I was 19. When I first entered the company, they said it was a secretary role, but I never touched a document, never had a desk. My job was to follow him into boardrooms, banquets, press events, rivals. Wherever he went, I had to be present. Dress well, but not too bold. Smile, but don't speak. Stay visible, but invisible. I wasn't a secretary. I was his shadow. After every event, we'd slip into a black sedan. Tinted windows, silence, no one spoke. I'd remove my makeup in the backseat, take off my earrings. He once said to me, "You're part of my brand." I remember one night in Busan, at a luxury gala. I stood behind him for 2 hours. My legs were numb. He turned slightly and whispered, "Smile now." That wasn't a smile. That was a switch. I thought I signed a job contract. Turns out, it was a contract for silence. Joining the boss for dinner. It sounds routine, but the table often holds more than just food. Many times, these women are seated at the edge of the room, quiet, composed, yet constantly watched. Clients raise their glasses with suggestive remarks. The boss stays silent, never objecting. Their presence isn't by chance. It's expected. In 2025, the Korean Women Lawyers Association reported a 21% rise in cases where female secretaries encountered inappropriate verbal and behavioral hints in gray zones of responsibility. These moments are rarely recorded, too subtle for complaints, too calculated for proof. But when they're asked to appear in private dining rooms, to pour drinks at night events, to vanish until morning, it's clear this isn't overtime. One secretary recalled, "I was in my official company uniform, seated beside a client. He handed me the first drink. At that moment, I knew I wasn't there to work." She didn't say no, because she knew the cost of refusal wouldn't be written into any contract. They appear on the company's official Instagram, polished, smiling, lit just right, the background spotless. The captions read, "Corporate culture, team spirit, professional women." But behind the scenes, They pay for their own styling. They arrive an hour early to fix their makeup. There's no budget, no support, only a suggestion. You look good today, let's get a shot. Refusing is not an option. In 2025, an internal HR memo stated, social media image maintenance will be included in annual performance reviews. This isn't branding, it's staging. One young secretary said, "My phone's full of smiling selfies. I've practiced every angle. How to look slim, how to look composed." Supervisors leave comments under their pictures. "Nice look today, keep it up." That's not praise, that's pressure. Pleasing to the eye has become part of the job description. No one ever asks, "Are you okay in these pictures?" She didn't say no, but she didn't nod either. Just a pause, just hesitation. 3 days later, she was reassigned to the front desk. People said, "You seem different lately." HR called it internal restructuring. Her only mistake, she declined an invitation to the birthday party of the CEO's friend. It wasn't an order, just a suggestion. But in corporate culture, suggestions often carry more weight than commands. This happened to a secretary at Company B. "I didn't refuse to work," she said. "I just wanted to protect my boundary." But where are those boundaries? HR won't tell you. Emails won't name them. Policies won't protect them. The company won't say, "She disobeyed." They'll say, "She lacks team spirit, she's not engaging, her attitude is unstable." A 2025 workplace survey showed, in South Korea, 68% of female secretaries who declined informal social events were later sidelined. It's not that they can't say no, it's that once they do, they quietly disappear. They're not fired. They're made to doubt themselves, to silence themselves. Not formal punishment, but perfect control. No one protested out loud, but they quietly made a Weshit group. They called it Shadow. It started with just for secretaries. No profile pictures, no real names, only aliases. Every word typed with caution. But at last, they began speaking up. "Were you also asked to attend a private dinner? Did someone take your photo after work? I said no to a social event. Now HR wants a chat." They started documenting the suggestions from bosses, the reminders from HR, the subtle yet disturbing patterns. No slogans, no heroes, just a shared need to know, "Am I alone?" Within 3 months, the group grew to 20. One woman said, "This chat is my only sense of safety before I walk into the office." In 2025, the Go! Workplace Women Watch reported 87 secretaries have joined anonymous legal aid programs. 12 received formal legal support. 5 won arbitration cases. A lawyer noted, "These cases are hard to win, but they're finally documenting. Change doesn't have to be loud. Every screenshot, every voice note, is resistance." They said, "We know it won't be easy, but at least, we're not alone anymore." In East Asia, being a secretary is never just a job title. In Japan, corporate secretaries are often called visual assistants. Their daily routine: escort the boss, check hair and makeup, book grooming appointments. It's labeled as detail support. In China, the role merges into a hybrid, part public relations, part personal life manager. They're expected to handle both client-facing duties and the boss' private schedule. In South Korea, everything looks formal, but formality masks unspoken expectations. No rules stated outright, but the culture speaks volumes. Secretaries are expected to adapt, to represent, and that representation is shaped by power. 3 countries, 3 systems, 1 pattern. The secretary is an extension of authority. Some call them the company's face. Others say they set the temperature of the office. But most of the time, their presence simply ensures that one man looks complete on the stage of control. Not just an assistant, but a projection of power. Rain outside the window. Eunice sits by the glass. No makeup, no smile, no longer silent. She says, "I finally said it. I quit." Not with drama, not with a shout, just a sentence, just resolve. By 2025, 3 Korean companies have pledged to cancel secretary beauty systems and introduced anonymous reporting platforms. Some stood up quietly and changed the rules without applause. They didn't ask to be the face of a campaign. They just stopped being the background. This system was never about skill. It was always about control. Control over what you wear, how you smile, where you appear. And now, the question echoes. Would you rather be a pretty label or a person with dignity? We're not accessories, not image props, and we're done being compliant templates. We are people who remember, who document, who say no. This system doesn't need more obedient girls. It needs people who see clearly. The story isn't over, but silence is.